Hello, this is Patrick at OneCNC West, and what we're going to do in this training video is take a look at adding a profile operation to our part here. So just like before, we're going to head over to the main toolbar. We're going to grab our stock toolpaths, and from here we're going to grab the mill profile operation. Now as soon as I do that, my cursor changes to the word start. That's because OneCNC wants us to define where we want to start our profile. So I'm going to left click here. As soon as we do that, we get these arrows. Now these arrows determine the side and the direction that you want to cut. Well, I want to climb cut, so I'm going to, in fact, I want to climb cut on the outside, so I'm going to grab this arrow right here just by left-hand mouse clicking. As soon as I do that, my cursor changes to the word end. Okay, and what we want to do now is digitize where we want the toolpath or the profile to end. So for example, if I left click right here, our toolpath, our profile operation is going to profile from here all the way around and then terminate. Now I'm going to escape out of this. Let's go back in again. I want to show you a couple things here. I just escaped out of the operation and reselected it. Notice that I can say I want to start here and terminate here. And as soon as I'm done picking, I right-hand mouse click, and then my cursor changes to the word start again. So I could come back over here and climb cut, and I want to terminate on that arc, and then right-hand mouse click. And what that would do is it's more like a situation where your part's in a vise and you're just machining both ends there. So that's just another example of how you can select. I'm going to escape out of this. Let's go back in here. What if you want to select the whole shape? Well, to do that, just left-hand mouse click and left click to the arrow that you want. I want to climb cut on the outside, so I'm going to left click that. And now if I want to profile all the way around, I can left click right here, but an easier way is just hit the F3, function key 3 on your keyboard, and that will automatically select everything. I'm going to right hand mouse click, and just like with our facing operation, here's exactly the same dialog box for selecting a tool. We can define a tool manually, or we can pull a tool out of the tool library. Again, this is our turret position. I'm going to say that's turret position number 2. I'm going to put a spindle speed in here. That looks good. And select my coolant. And for feed rate, let's put that at, again, we'll put that at 0.25 for that. That looks fine. And I'm pretty happy with my diameter and length here. And I might change my diameter. Let's make this, let's push this up to 20 millimeters. We'll make that 20. That looks good, so we'll click next on there. Again, just like with our facing operation, here's our clearances. This start and finish clearance, if you have a 4-axis or 5-axis setup, this is just the additional clearance so that when the part is indexing, the tool won't hit the part. But for standard work like we're doing, just 2.5-axis machining, you don't need to worry about this start and finish clearance. Here's our rapid Z-plane. I'm going to change that. Let's change that to how about 10 millimeters? Our plunge clearance, I'll make that 3. Now the plunge clearance, again, just like with facing, that's where the tool is going to start to feed down. Then I have the top of the material set to 0, and then this is just how deep we want to cut the part. Okay, so for example, you might put in something like minus 12 millimeters. All right, now notice there's an option here called Pick Z. Now this is great when you have 3D geometry like a solid model, or maybe some surfaces, or maybe you have just a 3-dimensional wire frame. What this allows you to do is if you click this, you can take your cursor, click anywhere on your 3D geometry. This isn't really a good example, but if I left click here, OneCNC is going to extrapolate that Z depth and push it in right there. All right, so you can see there's 0. So I want to cut deeper than that, so I'm going to put this back to minus 20 millimeters. That looks good. So we'll click next on here. 2 different styles for cutting. You have cut levels and ramp. Cut levels is simply going to take the tool, come down to a cut increment, profile all the way around, reposition down to the next cut increment, go all the way around and repeat that. Or you can select ramp. This is a new one with XR5. This is nice. This will take the tool and it will ramp all the way around the profile as well. I'm going to put this just back to cut levels. That looks good. So here is our rough settings. This is for our profiling operation. This auto step over, I'm not going to worry about it right now, but to let you know what this is what if we wanted to start way out here and we wanted to just concentrically profile, make a pass, move in a little bit, make another pass, move in a little bit, make another pass, and so on. That's what this is all about. I'm going to ignore that right now. I don't need to make concentric passes. I just want to take one pass all the way around the outside. All right, so here's your rough depths. That's if you want to take rough depths for each pass in that. I might put that at 4. And then leave on sides. That's just how much material you want to leave on sides. I'm going to leave that set to 0 for right now. We'll click next on there. And then this is if you want to take an extra finish pass. Right now I've let this set at 0, but if I had put in 1 mil for that, you could come over here now and say, you know what, I'd like to make another finish pass, and I want to take that finish pass at the very bottom. And what this will do is it will remove that 1 millimeter, so it makes an extra finish pass. I'm going to say no, I don't want an extra finish pass. I'll say none to that. So we'll click next. Here's our lead in and lead out. This is how we approach and exit the geometry. And here's your different styles. I'm going to use line arc for this. We're going to arc in, and I'll say for the arc radius on this, I'm going to say 5 is fine. Let's put 45 degrees on there. I don't need this extra line length here, so I'll put 0. So essentially I'm just going to get a 45-degree arc onto the part. We're going to profile all the way around, and then if I wanted to exit exactly the same way, I can certainly pick the same parameters, but if I just click these arrows here, it'll populate the exit values with everything that you've already put in your entry values. So think of these arrows as a shortcut. Let's click finish, and there we go. There's our profiling operation applied to our very first project. All right, so now within our NC Manager, we have our facing operation and our milling operation. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.